This week, we're continuing with the cycle of success, my very own framework that I'm sharing for the first time ever live to the public. And we're going to be talking about harnessing your peak potential in the second phase of the cycle of success, known as the illumination phase. Join me there if you're ready to execute on your massive goals and desires whilst having enough time, energy, and flow throughout the entire process. Welcome back to the Essence Shown podcast. I'm Olivia Heine, your host, NLP and Sacred Success Coach, here to help you revolutionize the way that you work so that you can actually work in alignment holistically with your body, with your womb, and create greater and more sustainable success. We are done with this era of hustling and forcing things into place and trying to micromanage and control to make things happen the way that we expect them to go. And instead, we're really ready to let go and flow. So if you are feeling this, if you are resonating with this podcast is for you and this episode is for you. We are continuing today with the cycle of success, or otherwise known as the cycle of creation, which is my very own framework that I teach inside my one-on-one coaching. I teach it inside my courses, specifically my one-of-a-kind mini course, Cyclical Ascension. And over the next couple weeks and episodes, I'm breaking down this cycle of success step by step, phase by phase. So if you're listening to this and this is the first episode you're tuning in on, I highly recommend you go back to the first episode in this series called The Cycle of Success, a Beginner's Guide, so that you can actually get the full overview, because I'm not going to be breaking that down in this specific episode. We are just going into the second step of the cycle of success. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to welcome you into this community and into this revolutionary work. And I invite you to subscribe so that you can follow along and continue to activate this incredible wisdom in your life. If you are not new, but you have not yet subscribed, left a rating or review or a comment or like, please make sure you do that. I love hearing from you. And I'm always so curious to hear what resonated with you and what questions you have so that I can further support your expanded success. So without further ado, let's dive into the second phase in the cycle of success, illumination. So illumination does correlate with the second phase of your menstrual cycle, which is ovulation. It also correlates to the season of summer. So looking at these correlations, we can start to hone in on what kind of work you can really be doing in this phase and how you can relate it and apply it to your project creation and successful goal creation. So this is really the phase of peak performance. This is like the zenith of what it is that you're creating. You have tons of energy. You are primed for effective communication. You are ready to take action, hitting the ground running, and you are sharing your ideas with confidence. So I'm going to break down a few of the main factors of what kind of work you can be doing in this phase and how you can actually then start to plan your creation of your projects, plan your upcoming month, or whatever your next level goal is based on this phase. So like I said before, this is related to ovulation. This is also related to inner summer. And this illumination phase is really the part of your goal creation where you are at your peak performance, right? So just like in summer where the sun is at its peak, we have the longest day of the year. We are feeling more energized to get out there, be social, have fun. It's the same with this phase of project creation. You have just planned, mapped out, and started to create a new next level goal or thing that you want to achieve. Now is the phase where you're stepping into actually launching it, getting it out into the world, shining the literal light on it, just like we do in summer. And you are just feeling this energy of excitement around being able to share this thing that you are so passionate and excited about creating. So this is really this feeling of like, I'm unstoppable. I'm so excited to get this out there, and I have the energy to support me in doing this. Like I said before, this is also when you have really effective communication. Your brain is wiring and firing in all the right ways for you. And specifically, this does relate to the ovulation phase of your menstrual cycle. So if you have a natural cycle and you ovulate monthly, this is specifically going to be how you feel at that point in the month. But I want you to start seeing this as it applies to the actual greater creation of your goals as well. And just being in the phase of like, I'm launching something, which is most likely going to take more than just the 3 days that you're ovulating every month, right? So harnessing this energy of effective communication, sharing, collaborating with your ideas and what you're creating right now, and leveraging this for the project that you're currently working on. This is also a really good time for being open to the feedback that you receive. And again, really focusing on your actual ovulation here in your monthly cycle. It's a time where you are going to be less affected by any kind of criticism or critical feedback or constructive feedback, because it's just kind of falling off your back. Like, you can hear it, you can accept it, but you're feeling so good about yourself right now that it really doesn't need to mean that much. So this is a great time to then also be asking for feedback. So what I would say here is, if you are aligning your project creation with your own personal inner cycle, it's a great time to match up your inner ovulation with also the illumination phase of your project. And I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. This is a great time for you to be taking center stage. This is main character energy era of your project creation, okay? This is where you really want to claim your wisdom, claim your knowledge. Don't let anyone push you off of what you're doing, and allow yourself to be in the spotlight with confidence. This is going to require a lot of mindset work as well, and really encourage you to claim your power, which this is really the best time to be claiming your power, because you literally have to step into it, right? Decision making and risk taking is at its prime here. And what I mean by that is, decision making is so important to actually move projects along, and risk taking is important for expanding the potential results of the goals that you have. So when you have this clarity in mind, you have your plan mapped out because you mapped that out in the first phase of the cycle of success. Now you get to execute on it. Now you get to see where your intuition guides you, okay? This is what I mentioned in last week's episode on innovation in phase 1, where I mentioned that we really want to not have this rigid structure, but create a framework for achieving your goals that allows you to flow within it. And this is where you are doing that flowing specifically. As you're launching, you're making adjustments. As you're going to the job interviews, you're allowing yourself to adjust and pivot in what you thought you wanted. The same thing goes for any other goal that you're creating. You want to be flexible and flowing within the process of actually achieving it. And that's where being a risk taker in the moment means following your intuition, and being a decision maker and having this focus on decision making means I'm not going to sit in this too long, because not making a decision is a decision in and of itself. And that decision creates a lot of stagnant energy that can take you out of this phase of illumination. Because illumination, like, we feel the energy, right? Like, you're feeling it. You're like, I'm going, I'm excited, I'm lit the F up by this. And as soon as we get to the point of, ooh, okay, decision, and then we wait for too long and we're like, oh, I don't know now, and we start to second guess, that's where we can really stunt the momentum that we have created. Finally, this is a phase for pleasure, okay? A lot of the times, and this is what I see a lot of us, especially as women, getting wrong, is that when we're creating something, it's like so serious, right? It's like, I have to make this happen and it has to be like this, and I have to take it seriously, because otherwise other people won't take me seriously. Otherwise, I won't be taken seriously enough to prove that I want this enough. I won't get the result that I want. And this is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. And I fully resonate, and I hear you and I feel you, because I fully believe that as well. But the truth is, the more you tap into pleasure, the more you tap into the enjoyment of being alive, of your life, of the fun and the playfulness and the creativity that can exist within creating something, even if it is something that feels serious or it's related to your survival, like making money. Allowing the pleasure to be there is what creates this open receptivity to what you want, right? It's kind of like dating. And if you go on a date and you're like immediately looking at exactly what you want, and you're taking it really seriously, the other person who's on a date with you is like, not feeling this energy, right? Like, I'm feeling like this is some really intense energy. I don't know if I want to keep dating this person, because it's like, it's not fun. So no matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're creating, having that pleasure infused into how you're creating it and how you feel, the energy that you're giving off on a daily basis in your life, but then also how you interact with this project, is actually so, so, so important. So this is not just about physical intimacy. It can be, that can ignite pleasure for you, but it's really about being in the process of enjoying. Pleasure is actually your purpose for being alive. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing, why are you doing it, right? And that's a bigger life theoretical question, but it's a really great one to help you zoom out of the intricacies of the situation you might be looking at or being faced with right now and just kind of see the bigger picture again. Like, what actually matters here? How can I find more enjoyment in this? How can I acknowledge my achievements or celebrate what I've created and find pleasure in what I have now? Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is the key to success. You're not going to have the pleasure or the enjoyment at the end when you have achieved this goal if you don't experience it and prioritize it now. Okay. That is just a rule of energetics. And if you want to know more about that, hit me up in the comments and I'll link some more videos for you on that. But that is foundationally how we want to be addressing and approaching our goals and the creation of our goals. So like I said last week, and I'm going to say this in every single episode here as we talk about the cycle of success, yes, we are aligning with the cycle of your womb. The cycle of success follows the biological cycle of your womb the same way the seasons relate and correlate to the cycle of your womb, the same way our womb correlates to the seasons and the cycles of the moon. The reason I use these cycles and that this is the framework for this methodology in and of itself is because there is rhyme or reason to it, right? All of these cycles around us follow these same 4 phases in their own cycles. So taking those and applying those to how you're creating success because you're already experiencing those within your body is what's going to help you elevate and revolutionize your success, making it holistic, making it sustainable, allowing you to have more time, energy, ease, and flow within the process and along the way. So I really encourage you to use this phase in a more zoomed out way. Like I said before, it can be really great to align certain tasks that you're doing within the cycle of your own womb month with your projects. That can be really key to make sure, okay, I feel really energized. I'm ovulating right now. I'm going to do the presentation. I'm going to do the launch this day, et cetera, et cetera. But to zoom it out, because you might be in a phase of illumination for longer than you're actually ovulating, right? There might be a whole weekend event that you're doing, or maybe it is a whole month launch that you're doing, or you're going to job interviews for, a couple weeks at a time. Whatever it is, generally our projects don't last and align 100% with our womb cycle, right? We can align specific tasks with that, which is also what I talk about in cyclical ascension. But I really encourage you to take this as a zoomed out methodology for your entire creation process of the goal that you're currently working towards. Okay. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind with the illumination phase specifically is that energy management here is key. Okay. You might have a lot of energy or feel like you have a lot more energy because you do feel motivated to create this goal or to launch it. You're excited to get it out into the public, or you're excited to do the presentation. And this momentum has actually been built up over the whole process of creating this goal up until this point. But it is so crucial to take breaks, to slow down, to have rituals that help you ground yourself within the actual phase of illumination for this project that you're creating or this goal that you're currently working towards. Because that is where we start to trip ourselves up, especially if the illumination phase of this goal that you're working towards or the project is longer. So let's say it's a couple months even, or a couple weeks. It's so key to implement these pauses in between, maintaining your well-being, because this is going to be what prevents burnout. Managing your energy throughout the process is going to be what sustains you in the long run. And it's also going to be what sustains your results. So really keeping in mind, what do you need to manage your energy in this phase? And again, a great way to do that, especially if your project illumination phase lasts a couple of weeks or months, would be to come back to your inner womb cycle or the cycle of the moon if you don't have your own natural cycle in your body, to align yourself with, okay, how can I incorporate more rest here? And I talk about that in my course, Rest for Success, in so much depth. We create your entire rhythm of rest, as I call it, and burnout prevention. So if you're interested in that, links to that are below. So I'm going to leave you with that. That was at the phase number 2 of the cycle of success, illumination. If you are ready to embrace this cycle of success now and actually activate your own cyclical success strategy, I teach you exactly how to do that inside my mini course, my one-of-a-kind mini course, Cyclical Ascension. You can get the link to that below if you don't want to wait the next couple weeks to uncover what the next phases are and how to work with them. Plus, I'm keeping these episodes really short and sweet, so you're really getting so much more information on how to actually activate these frameworks in your own business, career, personal goals within Cyclical Ascension. If you just want a little taste, I invite you to join me for my monthly free event. This is the only free thing that I do, the Cyclical Flow Planning Workshop. I do this the first Monday of every single month. And basically what we do is we plan your upcoming month in alignment with this success cycle and your own internal rhythm. So if you want to learn more about this and sign up for it, you can do that in the description below as well. I cannot wait to see you back here next week for phase 3, culmination, or inside cyclical ascension, or at the cyclical flow planning workshop. Until then.